come to order. Secretary will confirm the board members have been notified and notice is properly posted on the association property in advance of the meeting. And are all of our directors on? Robin, Dawn, Megan, Nancy?
I see Dawn. I don't know if Rob, we have Robin, Dawn, Nancy, and Megan. Yep, everybody's here.
Fantastic. So we have a quorum. Motion to approve Board of Directors meeting minutes from September 19th.
8/22.
8/22?
Yes, because we canceled the September
Oh,
meeting,
that's right.
so I apologize.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Alright, those in favor? Those in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty. Sounds good. President's update. I don't have a president's update. There's really, other than what's going on with the hurricane.
And you're, yeah, we can get those.
And the damage, so we're gonna just skip right over that one. Let's go to unfinished business. So discussion regarding updated rules and regulations. I know we've been working on those and getting them updated and based on common language. And what did we have still about it? One of the things that we added, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you had some stuff you wanted to add,
Yeah,
and I didn't send you all that.
I don't think so.
That was good.
We needed to add some language about ESAs. We also were adding language about rental of the clubhouse and what that entails. Let me find what I sent about the clubhouse. Bear with me one second. We wanted to make sure that when people are renting the clubhouse, they understand what it means. This last time we had somebody renting the clubhouse, we actually found them to be visitors were wandering the property and trying to access courtyard gates. So I thought we should probably stiffen up the language in there about who's responsible. So let's see here.
I'm in.
Good to see you here.
Okay, I think we had everything done except for additional
What?
things we wanted to add, so
Yeah.
you've got in here, let me see, where are bicycles, pets. We did put the ESA pet piece that was already.
Oh, yeah, that is right.
I can mute them on here.
Okay, so we were updating the documents, but we added some language. I'm just trying to find it with what I emailed to you, Janet, because I don't think anybody else had any feedback on that part.
You know, Liz, I'm gonna mute you, and whoever's logged on the iPhone. Alright, let's see. Scrolling.
Yeah.
We don't even have, it looks like the clubhouse rules are separate.
They're not in the rules and regs?
That's what I'm looking for, I haven't seen. The pool is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's party use, the clubhouse may be used for social.
There was specific language, let me find it. Because that was a mess.
And I think we talked about, didn't you guys talk about increasing the price or no?
We had talked about increasing the rental price, but we'd never really come to a decision on if we wanted to do that.
And grills was the other one.
Yeah. Because our documents, our rules and regs don't say anything about grills, but every single cluster, I think, except for 5, has a grill. And so I think we need to make sure that our documents include that language about having a grill. Our rules and regs. Right, am I right? Fiona, you have one, right?
Yeah.
Dawn and Robin, you have a grill in your cluster?
I did, but mine's broken, but I'm getting a new one in December.
Okay, and cluster two?
Yeah, I have one in 4.
Cluster two, do you have a
There's one
draft?
in cluster two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we need to have language that actually does state something about having a grill. So it's across the board, and that was not anywhere in here. The only thing that I found about a grill, I think was based on a clubhouse, actually.
All right, well, here, I found this, so Laura's original was, I think we need to add something to the use, clubhouse section 6. We needed to include the rental allows you access to the clubhouse for 6 hours only. Additional hours will result in additional fees. Something about the residents renting the clubhouse are responsible for every guest they invite onto the property. Damage, theft, or other violation will be billed to the resident's ledger. And then the parking piece, instead of it saying they may park in designated visitor spots, should say clubhouse guests must only park in designated visitor spots.
Does any, do any of the directors have any comments on that or concerns about that language?
No.
It sounds good to me.
Yep.
Okay, so we can incorporate that,
Yep.
cool.
And then the other thing was the grills.
Yep. I just think we need to have something that says something about grills being, since we have 5 of the 6 clusters, you all have one. Or Robin will have another one.
Are they all gas grills?
Propane, you mean?
Yep.
Is cluster 2's propane? Yep, nodding. Cluster 6 is, yeah, they're all propane.
So what kind of rule are you
It has to
looking
be a certain number of feet away from the building.
It has to be 10 feet away from a building, cannot be under like an eave, cannot be under, you can't have it like exposed closely to a tree, in case it lights the tree on fire.
I thought they were in the pool courtyards. What do
Yeah.
people do, take them and grill elsewhere?
No, they're in the pool courtyards. So that's what we have, but it's a matter of the fact that they're not listed anywhere in our documents that we can have a pool, a courtyard grill. There's nothing about grills in our courtyard, in our rules and regs.
Hmm.
So, and I think that we need to have something like that since 5 of the 6 clusters have one.
Then.
I have a question. Is there language regarding grills in any other section regarding people keeping grills on their lanai
Yes.
or?
They cannot keep it on
Okay.
a lanai, they cannot keep it on a balcony.
Well, I know that, yeah.
So it's there, but it doesn't address the fact that we have cluster grills
Yeah.
and that they are allowed.
There's one in cluster 2 that's in the lanai, and it's burnt the
That's what
side
I'm
of the
saying.
building. It's got big burn marks up the side of the building.
Well, our cluster, grill is in the pool courtyard, in the pool area.
And that's,
No, this one is someone's lanai.
okay, so the, being in the pool area is fine, but being in somebody's lanai, Megan, if you know whose unit that is, please let us know.
I do not. I'll have to, it hasn't been reported, I do not, but, yeah, that's what I was asking. I wanted to make sure that there was clear language in there about not having grills.
What
Well,
unit is on the other side of that gate by your place, Megan?
If any, if we
It's
can
vacant.
figure out,
Vacant.
if we can figure out exactly what unit, we could just turn them into the fire marshal.
Which
'cause
we will do.
We're not even gonna mess with it. They're not allowed to have it, and it's.
Right, but it's burning the side of the
Yes,
building.
we will address that, we will call the fire marshal about that one.
If it's right next to mine, that unit has been vacant. I don't know if someone.
It's on the
Maybe
other
this is a-
side of the
This
gate.
is a compliance
Megan,
issue.
it's on the other side of the gate.
Okay, that's fine,
Yeah,
we will
that-
figure out which one it is and we will report them to the fire department because they are in violation, period. So that, we will take care of that.
They're gonna have damage to the building that they can pay for too.
Okay, so, I think you have a thing here,
You find it?
where, I guess what I'm saying is, it's a county rule, it's a Department of Health rule that you can't have food within 4 feet of the pool. So, all these grills are located in those little pool enclosures more than 4 feet from the pool?
Cluster 1 is not.
No, ours is outside the pool
Grill's
fence.
more than 4 feet.
Outside the pool fence?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cluster 3 is the same,
Don, what is
outside
yours?
the pool.
Okay, then we just need some, we'll just add some grill language. You guys can all finalize it, we'll get it mailed out that just says they have to be used in the location they're at. They don't get moved. They
Yeah.
use where they're at.
Okay.
Just make it clear.
Mine is inside the pool, but it's more than, it's inside the fence of the pool, but it's more than 4 feet from the pool.
Okay.
Make
Okay.
it clear that it's managed by the association, so that people don't think, okay, now we can have grills.
And take it, right.
So they're managed by the association, not by individual people.
Well, how would that work though for cluster 5 if you guys don't have a grill?
We don't have to have one.
Condo property, use where it's at. Are they supposed to clean it, notify people when they use it? How's it get filled? How's the propane tank get filled?
That's the part that is on the clusters to deal with. Because every cluster does it differently and there's no way to control who cleans it, who replaces the propane and all those other things. And
If you put that language in, it's managed by the association, then we can give them the right to
Use it,
manage it within their cluster.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
this would be a good duty for the maintenance person to do, I would think, but as long as I've been there, in cluster 2, the grill is inside the pool area, but as Dawn stated, it's like further away from the pool than anything else.
okay. Alright, that's fine.
Okay. All right, I'll get that in, and is that all the changes that you wanted?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Anybody else? Anything else on the roof? I'll send you a new draft, and if you approve it, I'll get it mailed out to all the owners, and you can adopt it at the next meeting.
Alright, cool. Okay, next, item is consideration of unit numbers.
All right, this was, Nancy's, Nancy, we were talking about the unit numbers, because we had sent some violation letters to owners whose numbers were missing.
yep. And you've got one in cluster 3 that has a beautiful address sign. That's not in compliance with the rest of them. That's not, yeah, it's lovely, but it's not in compliance with the rest of them. I wish I knew where she got it and how much it cost.
The problem is too is that not every single unit or each cluster has the same uniform number panel. Like I went around and I had to document where all the units were and cluster 5 has a nice looking one, and Carl has a nice looking one, so we don't have conformity across the community. So.
Yeah, so, I did speak to this, I know this was brought up with the board probably about a year or more ago, and we had, under the former board, it was determined that the association would replace the numbers, with some kind of material to match the numbers, and that never happened. So I know I brought it up because, we had said in a board meeting that we would be doing it, so in my opinion, it wouldn't be fair to, fine people if we had said that we were gonna do it. However, if our cluster 2 has different numbers than cluster 5, I don't know what to do with that. I just know that we had talked about, replacing them because I think for cluster 2, there's,
What
if
stopped
half of
it?
them has a missing number.
Oh yeah, you've got
Megan,
several that you can't see.
Do you remember what stopped it was we could not decide on what to have for the back, like a backer board that the number sticks to? Are we
I
gonna
don't
go,
think so.
are we gonna go with plastic? Are we gonna go with, a little tray that holds numbers? Are we gonna have somebody make them out of wood? Are we gonna paint them the same color of the building? That was all left undecided.
So my recollection, and I could be wrong, my recollection is that the final discussion was that Tom was going to, take on this project because something about he had a machine or he had something that he had access to be able to make numbers. That's my recollection.
That's correct.
You guys are right, that was right.
We never approved anything.
Robin, what were you
But
saying?
remember, Nance, didn't Tom say there was a stencil or something that he was gonna look into?
Oh, God, I don't remember.
Yes.
Exactly how that.
Janet said
Yes,
yes.
there was some kind of
That
stencil.
might have done.
Yeah, that he said, oh, that we could just make the ones that are different, make them uniform to all the others because their stencils or something were in one of the maintenance rooms or something. Tom seemed to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about a stencil, but I remember him saying he was gonna do it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Alright, well, it sounds like we probably need to table this one until we got a little bit more information. Because it doesn't seem like we have a consistent, we want it this way or that way, and I think we have to look to see whether or not there's like a stencil that Tom had mentioned in Abraham's shed. If that's where he thought it might be.
Oh, gosh, I don't know if it's in there or not. I thought it had something to do with the signage that Tom was doing.
Oh, for his
At the
business?
time. Yeah.
Do you remember anything?
Not much, no.
Okay. Alright, can we table this one until
I'll move the table.
second
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get you some
options?
pricing and options,
Okay,
because
awesome.
it's just, this is like a year later and we still haven't done anything with the numbers,
Okay.
so.
It will not be another year.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree, Janet. I think we should make a decision, you know, we can table it for now, but just.
Make a
Yeah.
decision and move on.
Alright, we're gonna
Yeah.
table it and see what options we have available. Alright,
Just remember, the postal, company or the postal office has codes of how big those numbers have to be and a number of other restrictions.
alright, well, we'll look into that.
Those need to be met.
Alright,
They don't even deliver to the apartment.
it packages, sometimes they'll bring a package here or something they have to have signature for. Alright, we're gonna move on to new business. Consideration of hurricane items and damages repair updates.
Oh, God. Okay.
So, the adjuster, I wish you guys could see the look on my face because I'm so excited about this one. The adjuster, I believe, was wrapping up their work today because they have another account that they have to start visiting. So, I don't know if they were able to get into the units that we had on the spreadsheet. I do know that we had some residents who were not really helpful in letting them gain access. So, do we have any idea, Janet, who they weren't able to go into?
No, he didn't tell me.
Okay.
Laura,
Yeah.
the one that you mentioned to me,
Yeah.
they set up a different appointment for them to come on Tuesday.
I think that's what she wanted, but when I spoke to the adjuster, she didn't make it sound like that was really gonna happen, because they're going to a new site tomorrow, and they were trying to wrap up Pebble Springs today. So, my
I told her
concern,
that.
yeah, my
Yeah.
concern is that it could be weeks to months before they can get back here because of how many properties they have on the list.
I was just gonna say that, so the adjuster, he got as much of a list as he could. They may or may not have seen it, the guys that are doing the restoration will know, they know to take tons and tons of pictures, and they do have aerial footage, but here's the thing. The adjuster is interested in mitigating further damage, so he already checked with their roof, whatever stuff they did, so now we can start getting stuff repaired. But owners who were more worried about scheduling than letting the adjuster in there are simply costing the neighbors money. Because if it's not part of the insurance claim, we're gonna end up paying for it. And the longer you wait for the adjuster to look at, the more the mildew grows, the mold grows, the stuff gets wet, and then more has to come out, and more process has to go. And it's already been long enough. He didn't come out for,
It took them a week.
yeah, over a week to come out here, and he was here almost a week, and we got owners telling him, I can't meet you, I'll be there next week. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. I just don't even know what to say to that. But, I mean, all you gotta do is drive down the road and you can see he's got other things to do.
Yeah.
I mean, so, It is what it is. Whatever they got, they got. They're gonna come back and they're gonna tell you how much money they're gonna give you. We're gonna get the estimates, and as a matter of fact, the restoration guys told me they're gonna be working on it all weekend now that everything's looked at. So they should have stuff for us for repairs by Monday.
Is this BCB again?
Yes,
Okay.
you did not sign a contract with them.
No.
We talked to them about the roofs only. So, any of those repairs, they come back with estimates, you don't like the price, we can get quotes from, other things and other people. But as far as the inside of these units, what the insurance looked at with the restoration guys and the roof stuff, I mean, it is what it is, and if you didn't let them in, well then, I don't even know what to tell you. You're just creating issues, that's all.
Can you talk about the attics a little bit? Because I tried to get them to go in, but I was.
Well, they're still on site, that's why I said you could ask them if they'll inspect the attics if people let them in. But the insurance adjuster is not gonna go look at stuff where there's no reported issue, he doesn't have that time. He doesn't have the time. He looks at the roof.
So how are we gonna get that covered by insurance and?
Well, they'll take pictures and all, and if the insurance adjuster already looked at the roof, so if there's roof damage and they show that the water came through, that'll all be part of the
Okay, but it's wind damage.
process.
It's wind damage, you can't see it from the outside.
What do you mean wind damage?
The wind blows up in the eaves, it moves the insulation around, it knocks off pipes, damages, air conditioning systems. I know we're not used to this, of a Cat 3 hurricane, but it's well documented that there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the attics that.
I thought you said wet insulation.
Yeah,
from
you
the-
said there was
Okay.
wet insulation.
Yeah, from the roof leak.
We've got wet insulation, I've got blown around insulation, I've got vent pipes that are disconnected. I don't know because we don't have people up in there looking at them. We can't ask our owners to go up and look in these attics because they're gonna damage the attic. And they don't know what to look for. That's why I want a professional inspector to go in and look at them. And I think it should be done on the whole property. I know it's a little bit baffling, but
Yeah.
it's real.
No, it would have to be BCB, it would have to be them, we'd have to ask them to do it, to go up in there and look for stuff. Cause I know the adjuster won't,
Yeah, we're not.
he's only interested in looking at
He didn't even get on our
what
roof.
somebody told him was possible.
I showed somebody today, it was the adjuster, he went up in the attic in
With the
5968. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but your unit was on for water damage.
The unit upstairs of me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
why I
so
did
when
it.
he came in, he took pictures of the ceiling of where the damage, and he went up into the
Yeah.
attic.
Yeah.
Crawled up there, walked around, did whatever.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about with Charlie, the units that didn't report
Right.
anything,
Right.
so, and they might have stuff up there, it just didn't come through their ceiling.
Right.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry, this is Chad, I live in Unit 6, but we live in Allentown. And I'm coming down next week, and I was planning to go up in the attic, did I just hear someone say, we cannot go up there, or you do not want us to go up and look?
No,
You can
it's
go up there.
Go up there, it's your attic.
I went into my attic.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, 'cause I thought the gentleman just said that he didn't want the owners to go up.
Well,
there.
you have-
I was
You have to be careful when you go up into an attic because if you don't step on the rafters, you'll go through the ceiling. So
Well,
that's my concern.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
People going up in.
Yeah.
I think.
You and I know that, but other people might not know
I
that.
Yeah,
think part of
okay,
this
yeah.
situation, Chad, is that you have people who have attics that they actually use, and people who
Okay.
have an attic that only has one of those access doors, and they never go up there. So, for
I-
people like us who have an attic that they use, we can go up there and see
Mhm.
whether or not we can identify damage.
Oh.
But for those units that they don't ever go up there, that's where we're having challenges, which is why we're saying that BCB, which
Okay.
is Bay County Builders, who did all of the blue tarps on the property, they are in a better position to go up into those units. We
Sure,
did not,
sure.
we did not put them on the list for the adjuster because we did not have documentation and we had to basically, we're gonna require or work with the BCB to come out and take a look for those units that where people really don't use it and need to get up there to see if there's damage.
All right, Janet's being a
Okay,
jerk
so-
again. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be a jerk. Chad, Janet, Paul, we're gonna have to ask that you just hold off until the board's done
Oh, yeah.
discussing and we open the floor to owners, please.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
so Charlie, if BCB could do, or, if, you know what, like I said, I'll have a lot of their estimates by Monday and we can see if they're normal or outrageous. So far the roof was all right. I'll tell you about my panic attack, but the roof was okay, what they did. And then, so maybe their pricing is gonna be good, and if not, maybe we can have somebody like John Gouvernaut or hire another independent or even my guy. I don't know, to come out and go look at them.
You need a qualified inspector, a person that's got, the building inspector type person.
Yeah, so then these guys, then,
Yeah.
these
You
guys
gotta have-
would have to do it.
Gotta have credibility.
Janet, will you,
Yeah.
Janet, will you provide because I had a roof,
Chad, I'm sorry, I muted you. We have to wait until the board is done discussing before we open it to the owners, please.
oh.
And we
okay,
will.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I do wanna say that Bay County Builders has been in business since Michael. So they are very familiar with hurricane remediation, roofing, all of that. So I do think that they are very well qualified to do this work. Adam, the owner of BCB, has been on the property multiple times, and he actually did meet with our adjuster. And he's the one who told me the game the adjusters play, just be prepared for it. When they submitted
Please silence them.
Sorry.
What is that?
Thought I did.
when they submitted their invoice, yeah, they submitted the invoice for the blue tarping based on FEMA, what FEMA will pay for blue tarping. They could have charged more, they didn't, because they didn't want the adjuster to say that they were frivolous or whatever and deny it. So, my interactions with them thus far, and they have a pretty good reputation from what I can see, is they are reputable to come out and assess that level of damage. And they found damage that people didn't notice when they came around after people had reported some concerns. So,
They found more.
yeah, they did, unfortunately.
All right, so my panic was, I got their bill for that minimal tarping, $113,000.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It was a typo. There was an extra zero, it was 13,000.
Yeah.
Or it was, 130,000. It was supposed to be 13,000. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Because
About had a
I
heart
wanna
attack. I
say
was
it
like,
was $1.65 a foot.
I'm like,
is
did you
what the
replace
blue tarp was charged at.
Yeah.
Did all of our roofs.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not gonna get reimbursed for that then? That's we're gonna,
That went to the insurance company.
Yeah, we'll send everything to the insurance, other than the things that aren't covered. You don't have fence coverage, which is gonna be an expense. You don't have landscaping, any of the landscaping
Right.
stuff. And then the adjuster will come back with how much he's gonna give you. How much he'll report to the carrier will say how much they'll pay out. Once we have those figures per building, per carport, you can decide whether you wanna file a claim or if it's not worth the deductible.
I think we did that.
And then we'll have to do that, for all the other
The
stuff, we'll
letter.
have to do that special assessment, loss assessment letter.
so we're back to the 5% of the value of the property is the deductible
Mhm.
because it's a declared hurricane,
Yeah.
so.
5% of the building value.
So,
Yeah, ours was 2.4 million.
No, it's not.
Value?
Cluster 5, one of your buildings is 2.7 million.
right,
So, and that's a 5% deductible. So,
Right.
I actually was looking at the insurance documents and I was putting the information into a spreadsheet for each of the clusters and what their buildings were valued at.
Join the meeting.
Oh, must have been gone and come back. Okay, so this is one of the things that is the benefit to the plan for doing all these roofs, in 2025. Because next year you'll have more options in policies and companies
Yep.
for insurance, and that's gonna be a biggie. Because right now you just have to kind of take what you got. So I talked to them, just today, and I said, we need to get moving on these repairs, this is what we need to get moving on. And so they were gonna work all weekend, and told me they'd have some estimates for me by Monday for everybody, so.
so are you getting more bids on the roofs based on BCB's
I-
5 bids, like for the carpentry work and then for the roofs? or
No.
What are you doing?
The 5 bids that we're working on already were the 5 re-roof bids for what we decided to do with the budget. That was for all the roofs. for the whole
Oh, okay,
complex.
so we'll be ready if they give us an approval on X number of roofs that were hurricane damaged
Mhm.
to already have had bidders on all those roofs.
Well, yes and no. We asked them for it, Charlie, but they haven't all come out here yet. And now, and then the storms hit, and now they're super busy, so
Sure.
it might be a couple
Sure,
months before
yeah,
we
no,
even
I'm
get
just
them.
trying to get an idea
Yeah.
what's going on.
But these guys will be giving me the estimates to repair the stuff they already charged for you.
Yeah.
And there's a few others, but he did do, you said when they were going around, like if they saw something they could cover, like with a tile that was
Yeah.
loose, they,
The
you know, they
flat
were
roofs
doing
had
little minor.
fume stick tiles, the pitched roof had blue tarp. So if they identified issues, they covered, they might not have covered the entire roof. The ones that do have complete coverage with blue tarps were just so damaged that it was a better idea to tarp the entire roof. Some of them have patching. BCB did tell me that they can do the roof work as well. I did invite him to bid on the roof job.
all
Yeah.
the buildings, yeah.
So I know for sure
They'll
we
probably
got.
go back though, I can't
these-
imagine they'll stay here and do that.
Yeah, BCB, and then I think there's another one called Providential Roofing. They walked the property with me as well, so
Yeah.
we got a couple of them. But we have to have options, because there's a lot of roofing damage.
Yeah. So again, Charlie, when I get those prices, and you can decide if you want other bids, you don't have to take them because it's an emergency, you know, they're tarped right now, they gotta get fixed. You know, we'll see what the insurance people say, but either way, whether you end up claiming it or not claiming it, it's gotta get fixed, so, you know.
I did confirm with both BCB and Providential that they can do the architectural tiles that are on cluster 1. That's been approved by every cluster but cluster 2, which also then leads to the question about cluster 2.
They have to re-roof with exactly what they have, or they
have
can
to do a
rebuild.
proxy to get
Yeah.
the architectural roof. And if anybody wants a testament to those roofs, there were no roofs, tiles down in cluster 1 for the roofs that were just put on last year and this year. So, Megan, that's something that you probably wanna decide if you wanna do a proxy again in your cluster, so you guys can have the same roof throughout the entire community.
Yes, and if I'm understanding you correctly, the issue, as you already know, is getting enough people to respond to the, to that,
Yep,
the proxy.
yep.
Yeah.
Or getting,
So for those of you that are listening on, owners that are listening, we need, to have a quorum, we need to have a certain number of votes, so even if, say, we have, just a simple example, say we have 10 for yes and 4 for no, we would still not be able to move forward if we don't have enough people, a high enough percentage. And what is it, for us to be able to move forward?
It's 22 for cluster.
Megan,
two.
I can't remember any.
I think it's 22.
22?
Yeah.
That's what it is for.
And Janet would know better than me, but yeah. But we almost, any kind of, again, since I've been around, most things that we put out for proxy never move forward simply because we don't have enough people that are, responding and putting in their vote.
Well, for the roof, it might be a different thing.
Yeah.
So cluster 2, it is, you need 23. You need 23 to pass, it looks like.
They only had 22 for the roof. They had 22 yes votes and 2 no votes, and they didn't pass.
But, it might be different because there's gonna be no choice but to put new roofs on. That they might be willing to do the better roof. So, something for you to.
I don't think it's a matter of people not wanting to do the better roof. Like I said, we have a lot of inactive owners. The problem is, based on the number that we're, required to get, we just don't, it's just not there. It's not being for units, so that's not an issue.
Right, there's a lot of units in cluster 2 that are open.
There's still
I
owners.
muted,
Like, there's a lot of
I
vacant.
muted Barbara.
Yeah.
Robin, Dawn, do you have any, Fiona, Charlie, anybody, other board members have anything to add before we open the floor? I know Chad and Barbara both have something to say.
I did want to know, how long can the tarps be on? How long can they be on there before the roof has to be repaired? Do we know that?
I don't, but I think it's 30 days.
30 days,
Um,
and then something has to be done. That's what
Well,
they have.
again, I think that's with the FEMA blue tarp thing, I'm not
Okay.
positive, it might be 60 days, I might totally be lying.
Okay.
I have to check, I'll find out. Dawn or Robin?
Hi, thanks, Shannon. So just if I'm understanding it correctly, so with the exception of cluster one, everybody else had roof damage, so will all of our roofs have to be replaced, or is it just going to be, for the estimate, is it just gonna be the repairs itself?
Dawn, cluster
How will
one
that
did have roof damage. The two buildings that were not done had roof damage. So it was just the 2.5 buildings that were done that held up perfectly, so,
Better some than none.
yeah.
So is it just the repair with the same, I guess I'm just trying to get a handle on how the repairs will be. Will it be all or nothing, or patchwork?
This is replaced,
Okay,
because we were,
okay.
No, that won't be covered by the insurance.
No.
The couple of roofs that are really bad might be covered for full replacement.
Oh.
One's Charlie's, right? One's Megan's? Yeah.
but we made the decision as a board that these roofs were gonna be replaced.
Well, anything that's 15 years or older, they could still continue to keep some roofs that are like 5 years old. They've got,
Are there any that are five?
Yeah, but that's not for now, that's not part of this, that's, next year. Yeah.
I mean, but are we better off doing it when we can get it all done?
With what money?
Assessments, I have no idea, but I think in terms of if we are under the gun to try to get our insurance costs lower, so have we identified what has to be done? Do we know?
that's,
Yeah, the roofs all have
that's
to be
later
done.
Yeah,
on.
the roofs all have to be done.
Yeah. The roofs have to, but that's, one's not gonna affect the other, because you're not gonna have that funding and all. Because Nancy wanted to move forward with her one roof, and I had to tell her, you are one association, so you're only getting one line of credit. So it all has to be done at once. We can't do cluster one now, cluster 5, because it needs one due to the storm. 4 when they get, in January, 6 in February, I mean, it can't be like that. That's not, it's one line of credit, so.
Okay.
And the assessment amounts might be different based on the needs of the cluster and how many roofs have to be replaced with. Okay,
So are we doing all that in January, Janet?
I'm just gonna be blunt, I don't even wanna talk about the budget and the line of credit and the roof project right now. I've got to get through this month.
Okay.
I know that sounds mean, but I can't, Robin, my brain
No,
will
I
fry.
get it. No,
Yeah.
I know your schedule's been crazy. No problem.
Yeah, and we haven't even started getting these in, so, I mean, Monday may come and you may get all these estimates for fixing the gables and the soffits and the whatevers, and the insurance adjuster may come back with a really good figure, and we may be in a good position. But until then, just assume as of Monday, I'm gonna share stuff with you, and you're gonna be asking me to get second opinions, third opinions, fire this, hire that one. I mean, it's just too much right now. I can't. We have to get it done, but, and it's not just me, the banks are doing that right now for this hurricane stuff, they don't want a random line of credit that's not an emergency right this minute, and I think we need a good another, couple weeks to just get a hold of it. Okay,
Good.
do you wanna
Good to me.
open the floor to the others?
Okay, there are owners in attendance that have questions?
Online, Barbara, you're muted, and Chad, you're muted, if you wanna unmute yourselves, you two had some questions. Because of the hurricane, I'm doing this, I don't know if you're supposed to, but we originally said we weren't gonna take questions from those on Zoom. It was just a platform for them to watch and listen, but they can't watch, so maybe they could ask some questions.
No, this is Joe, I don't have any questions, I'm good.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna ask a question, I was just gonna say that the vote by proxy, there's a lot of units in cluster two that are unoccupied. So that may be why we don't get the votes.
Well, they are still owned by someone,
It's,
so.
that's what Megan's saying, it's those investor owners that don't respond, yeah.
Okay.
Can I speak?
Lori in the audience had a question.
Just a quick question.
Okay.
When was the last time cluster two replaced that roof? I thought it was done maybe 3 or 4 years ago. That's what I was told by EJ. And so that's why I was wondering why are we,
Cluster two roofs are 2008.
I was gonna say cluster two roofs, I think are the
2008.
oldest. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Somebody online said, can I speak, but I don't know who it was. Liz, maybe?
Hey, yeah, Janet, hey, this is Liz Cadola with 5944. I want to say I give you tremendous accolades for putting up this horrendous catastrophes. I know you have plenty of properties that you are dealing with. Your company manages another property I own as well, and we're dealing with it as well there. I will say that we do need to have the adjusters into the attics, because those attics, we don't know what's in there. And I agree with Charlie on that. I know we have a time limit, so we need to go in there and look and see. If